I'm Bridget, and I'm going to be discussing if animals should be used for biomedical research through the scientific and ethical lens. Animals have been used in laboratories for the testing of beauty products, chemicals, drugs, treatments for decades, all over the world. Researchers will see how the mentioned forms of testing will affect humans through animals. Laboratory animals are held in confined areas, handled in ways that cause immense stress and fear, and have different genetic makeup than other species. These characteristics create unreliable information that should not dictate the use of drugs or treatments on humans. So, my stand on this argument is no, animals should not be used for testing. Different species of animals have conflicting responses to the same drugs or treatments due to their unique genes and biological systems. Consequently, conducting experiments on various types of animals will give unreliable data on how the treatment or drug will affect humans. Casey Lin from the National Yang Ming Chiao Tung University writes, although animal models can be used as a basis for toxicological classification, the toxic effect on the human body can be very different from that on animals owing to the distinctive features of different species. Aisha Akhtar, CEO for the Center of Contemporary Science, writes of an example of when a drug or treatment worked on animal testing but failed in humans. 6 human volunteers were injected with an immunodualatory drug, TGN-1412, in 2006. Within 60 minutes of receiving, all volunteers suffered a severe adverse reaction resulting from a severe, life-threatening cytokine storm that led to catastrophic systemic organ failure. TGN-1412 was successful in non-human primates but failed in humans. Despite non-human primates being the closest relatives to humans, the results still differ. Unsanitary confinement of lab animals, accompanied by the improper handling by researchers, leads to inaccurate information. If experimental animals are mistreated, the scientific knowledge and conclusions from experiments may be compromised and difficult to replicate, says Aisha Kiani in her International Bioethics Study Group. In animals, distress and agony-causing factors should be controlled or eliminated to overcome any interference with data collection. Therefore, considering and addressing the animal's advanced emotional intelligence is a very crucial factor in testing. Conditions like being tightly packed in rooms without outdoor access, overcrowding, extreme temperatures, and unsanitary conditions will all negatively impact data collection, says Catherine Groff with the New England Anti-Vivisection Society. The reliability of testing is a very important factor when considering bringing those results to humans. Testing can harm workers that are handling the animals. Poor treatment and handling of animals are the main causes of laboratory-acquired infections, but bites, needle injuries, scratches, poor air circulation, exposure to unclean materials, inhalation of toxic materials, and more are others that cause 45 cases per 10,000 workers a year in the experimental industry. Laboratory-acquired infections is a very dangerous sickness that workers can obtain that ranges from asymptomatic to death. Laboratory animal allergies used to describe symptoms that may include allergic reactions resulting from animal allergens. Stressful handling environments are one of the main causes of laboratory-acquired infections. Kiani says, all individual researchers that handle experimental animals should be properly trained for the particular species involved in that study. Some researchers, scientists, and others that advocate for animal testing believe that animal testing is of great help in advancing medical science and help gain a better understanding of treatments and drugs. Although testing can potentially lead to a breakthrough for a treatment, the rates of unreliability, effects of false results, and reasons for inaccuracy outweigh the small chance for potential breakthrough. Altogether, an alternative is needed. Researchers have been successful in creating safe replacements. Human organs grown in labs, human organs on chips, cognitive computing technology, 3D printing of human tissue, and the Human Toxin Project are all new examples of human-based technologies that are cost-effective and can efficiently replace animal models while being safe for the animals and workers involved. With promising alternatives, animal testing should stop. It gives inaccurate information that leads to false hope for patients that are relying on the treatment or drug. Moreover, the unethical factors of testing impact both the animals and people involved. For society as a whole, animal experimentation is unreasonable and researchers should switch to using favorable alternatives. Thank you.
Bridget, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use studies, and why did you choose not to use it?
There was one example of harms in animal testing that I found. It was at Penn State, and it was an example of baboons that were used for head trauma experimentation, and a lot of things got uncovered, and there was a lot of abuse going on for the animals, and the conditions were terrible. And I was going to use this example, but I had the other example of the TGN1412, and I thought that was a better example of the flaws in animal testing, and I also didn't have a lot of time to add that in my presentation.
Okay. All right, thank you. If you had more time, what additional research would you conduct?
If I had more time, I'd probably look more into the current restrictions of animal testing and the current laws and what happens to an industry that fails to follow the current laws, and I just want to know more about like the current opinions on animal testing.
Okay, thank you.